Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the hashtag Grow Your Life morning wake-up call. Every morning I go live on Facebook and Instagram. If you don't follow me on either of those, make sure to be aware of that. Sometime between 9 to 11 a.m. I go live and give you a tip for the day. Today I want to talk about how to destroy negativity and unbelief in your life and in your actions. Now, here's the deal, guys. And I'm speaking from experience here, personal experience. I have let so many other people's opinions and ideas about what I should and shouldn't do in my life influence me, and even maybe their own negativity and belief, and then I take it on as my own identity and belief. Here's the deal. Everybody around you is not supposed to believe in what you are doing. Everybody around you is not supposed to always be positive. You can't control other people. Okay? And here's the deal. When you release that and you realize the freedom that comes from the outside world going on around you and it not influencing you, you become powerful. And the way to destroy negativity and unbelief is get very solid in your identity, who you are, why you were created and what you were made for and what you are going after. Get clear about your goals, get clear about your destiny. If you don't know about that, if you don't understand that, if that's too hard, leave me a comment and let me know that. I want to talk to you especially about that. The way to destroy negativity and unbelief is get really clear about your identity, knowing who you are, what you were called to in your destiny, and going after it. And so the idea is, think of it like a sports player. A sports player who is going out on a field after he just had a bad day, or your team is losing, but you know that you're a superstar and you know what you're called to do, where you're going, where you're after. And so when you got fans throwing beer at you in the audience, when you got all this stuff coming after you, you got to put on these virtual headphones with noise cancellation and cancel out the outside noise. And sometimes part of that is, what are we listening to? What are we ingesting and putting inside of us every single morning? What are we taking in? That's why I'm doing these live sessions here with you guys. A, to help me reiterate to myself verbally what my beliefs are, but B, to help also encourage you. And so if you don't subscribe to my Facebook and Instagram, do that, as I go live with these every single day. To destroy negativity and unbelief, so often I've seen other people, they say what you should and shouldn't do, and it's negativity that comes out of, it's almost even sometimes positivity masked as insecurity and negativity, like, well, you know, if you don't go do that, you're just going to be a failure. And so a lot of times then we take that on as if like, well, if I don't do that thing, I'm going to be a failure. No, here's the deal, is have choice and be solid in why you were created, what your choices are, what you're choosing to do. This all comes out of identity. Now, when we're working on that, we're going to listen to positive influences. We're going to listen to stuff, podcasts to keep our mind right, podcasts like the Grow Your Life podcast, sessions like this. But you have to get solid in this, that when you wake up in the morning, you start to make declarations over yourself and over your life about the truth of where you are going. Write those goals down and repeat them to yourself. Write them down on your heart. And when you start to repeat that, it starts to become solidified in who you are and the actions that you walk out. And then what happens is, for me, this is my personal experience. I would log onto social media and I would see a motivational post that was like, you know, you should be doing this, or if you don't do this, you're a failure. And I would feel like a failure. I'd be like, man, I suck. I can't do anything right. And I would let outside influences of culture, media, and other people that actually I believe had my best interest in mind, people who I don't even know that I even let influence me. And that's the other deal. A lot of times we let the noise of social media influence us negatively. And one thing that you guys may need to do is clear up who you're following, the pages you're following, and get around just influencers that are helping motivate you to where you're going. Change the tape, change the noise, change the messaging that's coming into your mind. For me, that's also spending time with the Lord, spending time in the Word. I play my piano to get my mind right. Before I came on here, I played my piano and it got me refocused on where I'm going. And so I want to encourage you today, if you're struggling with negativity or unbelief, but you also know where you're going and you know where you're called to, you know what you need to believe, and you're worried that you're not doing it right, I want to say this. That a lot of times we prevent ourselves from accomplishing what we're called to do because of fear of making a mistake, a fear of doing it wrong, a fear of not always doing it the right way. And I want to release you of that and say, you can't mess up. Like, there's no right or wrong way. Whoever told you that about just living life, that you have to do it in one specific box, lied to you. Okay? There's a moral code and a moral compass and all that. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about specifically is getting clear and solid in your identity. And all of this stems from that place. And then being consistent with it. You know, we do this sometimes. And if you try this and you test this, you block out a lot of the noise, a lot of the negativity, a lot of the thoughts of what I should and shouldn't be doing. And for me, negativity came in the form of should do's, and then I felt like a failure. For other people, it's other things. You know, you're paying attention to what's going on with Trump or with the news or North Korea or whatever that is. Whatever your, I would say it's like a drug that we take in, and it actually feeds this machine in our head because we're like, oh, this is interesting. I'm interested in that, and I'm becoming informed about this. And then we make other people's thoughts our own thoughts, and we take on stuff that we were never supposed to take on as our own thoughts. So that's where then we start to then combat, and we start to argue with this invisible straw man that doesn't even exist, that's in front of us, a fabrication of our own mind that we've made up, that we start arguing with. And we start arguing and combating it when the truth is actually peace, clarity, rest, focus on truth, identity. What's the truth about what God says about me? What's the truth about why I was created? What's the truth about what I was called to do, and the truth about God's plan for my life? And you write it down, and then you constantly repeat it over you. Even if it doesn't manifest as true for you right now. You know, I heard a great quote from Steve Backlund, who he's like king at this right here, making declarations. He's like, you know, we don't say a baby apple tree isn't an apple tree because it doesn't have the apple fruit. It's still an apple tree. So declare over your life the truth about who you are, what you were called to do, the truth about the fruit that is coming out, the truth about what you're working towards. Declare it over you. The way to destroy and combat negativity and belief is not to combat it. It's not to fight it. It's not to make a post, an anti-whatever post, and say, well, I just don't agree with that type of thing, and fighting and holding on to this thing and getting all stressed out about it. The way to do it is peace and calm and being very clear about your identity to the point that nothing else, no other noise can come in. The noise, you have this virtual noise cancellation on your mind and your mindsets where I know where I'm going, I know where I'm called to, and anything that is not serving that has no place to come into my mind. And here's the deal. It's going to come at you. There's like arrows that will come at you that you can't just always put up walls. It's going to be in front of you. We live in the real world. We live in society. Okay? But what separates winners from people who want to be winners are those that can get a clear, solid focus of where they're going in the midst of all the noise and negativity, to where it doesn't even affect them, to where it doesn't even hit them, to where it comes in and you don't even pay attention to it. You don't even give it the time of day because it's not even worth your energy. And when you do that and you start to walk in that, and you get really clear about that, and you walk out your life with this mindset, and everything else then trickles down from that, you'll start to see changes and transformation in your life. Have a good one, everybody. I'm so glad that I was able to do this. Leave me a comment. Let me know if this blessed you. Share it with somebody. Tag somebody. I'm about to go live in my group and actually do a podcast as well about consistency. So we'll talk soon.